Hey everyone, it's Elizabeth with Family Heirlooms, and I'm out here in the garden tonight trimming tomato leaves, doing a little bit of pruning, and I wanted to show you something cool that I found, which is called a mega blossom. Now, depending on how you feel about tomatoes, mega blossoms can be a really good thing or they can be a really bad thing, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. So mega blossoms, when you get into heirloom tomatoes in particular, you will find there are tomato blossoms that are very large and have lots and lots of these pistils and stamens. A traditional, normal tomato blossom, here's one, is very small and just has one row of petals, and it's not a whole lot to look at, but you can get into ones that are almost like double blossomed, and what this is a whole bunch of flowers actually fused together. And on this plant we've got one normal here, but I actually have one I have not seen before, and you can see it here with that green in the middle. So this one in particular is the type of mega blossom a lot of people don't like to see on their tomato plants, because this is like flowers all fused together around, and these are just more of these sepals here. And what can happen is cat facing, and cat facing is basically where you have like a hole in the middle of your tomato, and that's what would be forming here where the green is. Now, in terms of tomato size, these generally tend to be the larger, beefier tomatoes, and like knobbly and conjoined and all sorts of things like that. So if you want that kind of tomato, these are a good thing. If you're wanting perfect store-bought tomatoes, these are probably not the kind of blossoms that you're looking for. So why might people have problems with these mega blossoms? Well, the problems can come in the form of cat facing, which is something a lot of people don't like, where you get kind of knobbly, weird looking tomatoes. And in the case of our one that has the green sepals in the middle, you can actually get like a donut shaped tomato, and then it's going to have some issues in growing and maybe get some rot in the middle there where the tomato is growing around those sepals. For some people, they love the mega blossoms. They want these big, beefy, knobbly tomatoes because in their mind, that's what an heirloom tomato looks like, and they believe that having these bigger tomatoes is desirable. In our garden, we really don't care either way. We get excited when we see these mega blossoms because we do enjoy the big tomatoes, but we also don't get really sad if we just have our regular blossoms, because we still tend to get really big tomatoes. If you are someone who is growing for a market, a lot of the time having those knobbly tomatoes makes it a little bit harder to sell, because unfortunately in our society we've kind of gotten to a point where a lot of people think that tomatoes have to look a certain way, and they have to be that perfect round shape, no knobs, no dents, no spots where they are grown a little bit weird. And of course, as us as gardeners, we know that those are just as tasty, and really there's nothing wrong with them. So if you're someone growing for a market, those might be a kind of blossom that you pick off the plant so that they don't put energy into producing those mega tomatoes. Now, there can be a compromise where you have your really nice tomatoes grown from just the regular blossoms that you take to the market, and the mega blossoms, maybe you keep those for yourself and you use them in your own home. For us, it's kind of a non-factor. We get excited about tomatoes either way. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're growing tomatoes. Sometimes you're going to get these crazy weird blossoms, and you're going to get some crazy weird tomatoes. And sometimes you're just going to have regular blossoms, and you're just going to have regular tomatoes, and that's just how it goes sometimes. And it's really up to you how you want to grow your tomatoes and what kind of thing you're looking for. You can definitely choose to let those flowers produce and save seed from those tomatoes, and you will tend to get more and more and more down the line of those kind of tomatoes, those big mega blossom tomatoes. In fact, there are some tomatoes now that you can buy. I've seen them on Baker's Creek where they're basically a bunch of little tomatoes all kind of stuck together, and that would be the mega blossoms doing that. So you can breed to get these crazy weird knobbly tomatoes if you really, really want to. So again, these mega blossoms versus regular blossoms, it's just a personal preference. If you want to keep them in your garden, you can. They're not going to produce bad tomatoes. This might look a little weird, but that's all I've got for you guys today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.